Hey guys, what's up? You're growing with Shawn. All right, so on episode of Growing with Shawn today, we are going to be repotting my Monstera Thai Constellation. Hoping if I put this out, I won't make such a big mess. All right, here it is. Now I purchased my Constellation about 3 weeks ago. I didn't want to disturb its natural growing medium and its adjustment as it acclimated to my room temperature and my preference. So I left it alone, but I have noticed a little bit of decline in bringing it from the store to bringing it here because for many different reasons. It could be the humidity climate that I keep in here, the temperature I keep in here, just the way that the humidifiers actually affect just the growth of the plant in general. Typically more humid for Monsteras, and they grow, they take off. I just noticed that this plant just seemed to be a little stagnant. I'm starting to see the leaves kind of curl up a little bit. Nothing's turning yellow, which means we don't have a watering issue, which to me, when I see this, it's a nutritional issue. So what I'm gonna do is just get in here to kind of see what's going on, to see if it needs to be upgraded, so that way you know what to look for and moving forward. So first thing that you like to do is that when you're doing any repot, especially when you're just getting it back from a store and you haven't done it yourself, is kind of just squeeze it around so that way help kind of soften up the soil a little bit. And before we do a repot, remember, I don't like to add any water or anything. I kind of like to let the plant kind of just dry out a little bit because it just makes it easier, not as heavy. I was gonna say it makes it more dense, you know, just a little bit lighter to be able to move out and take out. So here we go. You want to be careful. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Look at these roots right here. Now, after taking a look at this, we clearly can see that it has outgrown its 6-inch pot that it's in. So with your Monsteras, you just want to be mindful that although you can go up sometimes 2 pot sizes, depending on the size, you're going to make it more susceptible to root rot, because remember, the bigger the pot, the more water that you have to pour in there to be able to moisten the soil. So what we want to do is, I'm just going to move it up 2 inches. So it's in a 6-inch pot. We're going to take it up to the next. That's going to be an 8-inch pot. I don't believe a 7-inch pot exists, but if one did exist, I still wouldn't use it. I will go up to the 8-inch. This is our 8-inch pot. I already put the soil in here that I plan on using. And so with this mix, we have Orchid bark, Perlite, and our tropical mix. Hey, that's what we're gonna use for Monstera. All right, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is just pour this out, because I just put them inside of here. So now I'm just gonna kind of just mix it and get it around good. And another thing that we're gonna be using while we're repotting this is my fertilizer. You know that I'm a big Bios fan. Fertilizer. What I go ahead and do, I take my fertilizer. Since I have it here, we're just gonna mix this in. Now you got eyeball measure it, or you can follow the instructions. The instructions is 1 teaspoon, but I like to go ahead and just do that. Okay, let's get it mixed all in there pretty good. Don't like to mess around with these roots a whole lot, but I am gonna see if I can break up just a little bit in here to see what we can get going. Again, if I really had a problem with the soil that they was using, that I got it from, then I would take it all the way out and spray rinse. But the soil that they're using, to me, it looks pretty good, like it's a good mixture. If I had to guess, it's just a mixture of potting mix and a little bit of extra perlite. So I don't have a problem with this. So I am not trying to get in here and disrupt this plant altogether. I'm just gonna try just to break up some of the real just thick roots that seem to like just working their way up. Just allow that to kind of come down. So when I put it in here, it could just attach to the soil a little bit cleaner and better. This is as far as I'm gonna do with the root system. I feel comfortable enough that once it get down in here, it's gonna do what it needs to do. So I'm okay with that. Again, I don't have a problem with the soil that they use. It's perfectly fine with me. I love it when it's like that. It makes it actually a little bit easier. Now we're just gonna drop in here. And that seems to be a really good spot. Tuck. Get these roots tucked in here. And now we're gonna go ahead and start filling the pot in. Now, what I like to do is just take this and go all the way around, because I have found that when I start tapping it all in first, I miss some roots. And that's the good thing about having these clear pots, is that these clear pots are gonna allow you to be able to see what the other pots leave invisible. At the end of the day, all we want is a healthy plant, right? Its roots are completely covered, and that is good down there because these plants are very expensive, okay? So last thing I want to do is try to be lazy, skip a step, and tear up my whole plant, right? Plants will already do stuff that they want to do just on random days when they feel like doing it. So the last thing I want to do is turn around and contribute to it. It's going around here evenly. That's what we want. We want the plants to be even. Okay. Now, originally they had a stick in here. I'm guessing maybe the stick was for balance. So we're going to put that back on in there. All right. And just like that, we have repotted our Monstera Thai Constellation. All right, so as you can tell, we've just finished repotting our Monstera Thai Constellation. In my opinion, this plant is a little bit more difficult to care for than the original. But if you know how to care for the original version, the Monstera Deliciosas, you'll do all right. You'll do fine. I think that what makes this one a little bit different is the fact that you pay so much money for it. So you kind of want to monitor it a little bit better. And I'm not saying just because a plant is cheap, it doesn't mean it doesn't get the same care. All I'm saying is that if you pay $15 for a plant and you give it everything you have and you take a loss on it, you can stomach that a little bit more versus getting up to your plants where you're paying $100, $200, $300 for and taking a loss on that. So I definitely would say experiment with this Cousins just a little first, so you can just get the hang of actually showing up. These plants aren't needy. Now they do like high humidity, and they do like you to give them some water once, maybe twice every 2 weeks, just depending on their size and depending on their environment. Again, it's I keep mine plants in a very warm room for the most part, and my humidifier that I'm running actually produces heat. So that helps keep things regulated. I keep a thermometer in here as well that keeps track of the temperature and keeps track of the humidity. I try to keep the humidity in here between a 45 and a 55%. It's just my preference, and all my plants seem to thrive and do pretty well. And the plant mixture that I have is Monsteras, philodendrons, pothos, and some syngoniums. Like, that's pretty much all I have. I do have a couple of different variations, some begonias and so forth. Okay, I'm off topic. Sorry about that, I'm off topic. Let's get back to our Monstera. They're a very easy self-care plant though. I won't have to repot this plant for at least 6 months. We'll probably be back in December repotting this. I'll put it like that. They are fast growers, but you don't necessarily, just because they grow up, because this will grow up, it will take off. You're going to be here for the journey to see it. They don't necessarily need their pot to be upgraded. Kind of how you saw the roots, how they was very tight and compact. That's what you want your plant to be like before you upgrade the pot. You want it basically busting out. A great root system is going to deliver great results. Remember, when you put a plant in a pot too big, it spends all its energy trying to build a root system down there. So it's going to try to fill this whole pot up with roots before it starts to produce. And if you have a plant that's half of this size down here and you put it in a pot this size, it's going to try to fill all of this up at the bottom right here. It's going to fill all of this up with roots before it starts delivering you any results. The unfortunate part of that is this part down here is also gonna need water, right? So you're gonna end up having to water all of the soil, and you're gonna drown out your roots, because your roots are not gonna be able to get rid of the water quick enough, because where is it going, right? So just be mindful of that when you're upgrading your pots. So you see we had a pot this size and we upgraded this size, and we're gonna get some great results, okay? We're just gonna put a little bit of water in here. Isn't it satisfying to watch? That's all the time that you're getting with me today. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, when you're growing with Shawn, it's always something to learn.